Telling stories through games has sparked so many creative and innovative ideas over the years. What once was just context for what you'd be playing for several hours has become the sole reason why you play for several hours. Games have become capable of being as captivating as movies. Not like Quantum Dream games though, not like those, not like David Cage games, but rather taking a story and weaving it into the gameplay, making it motivation rather than just context. There will always be the champions of video game stories that impacted so many people, but there is one game that no one has seemed to mention enough that left the most meaningful impact on me through its amazing and well-structured story. A game about capturing funny little creatures who have a catchy theme song and meeting silly wacky characters who have their own issues. And the whole thing turning out to be so much more than what I could have ever imagined. This is why Bugsnax is a masterpiece of storytelling and why more people should be talking about it. Bugsnax was announced at the PS5 conference back in June and got a surprising amount of buzz. Well deserved too, as the studio who made the game, Young Horses, hasn't made a game in almost 6 years with the release of Octodad. But most people were talking about the one thing that was completely intended to be talked about: the Bugsnax themselves. Because, look at them! This weird-ass world had everybody absolutely baffled, and that's a good thing. The Bugsnax are cute and dumb and clever in design, but you also eat them, and your limbs turn into bug snacks. What is this? It was weird, it was a little morbid, but it was interesting, and that's all that mattered. Next thing you know, many were already talking about Bugsnax. Some joking about it, saying how funny it is that the game looks too predated for a PS5 game. Some saying how legitimately excited they were for the game. Regardless, the game was looking up to be a genuine success. It had the voice actors, the intriguing world, and a story? This was glossed over, obviously, but they were hinting at something from the start. Something that seemed to be big. Something that we would find out soon enough. Bugsnax launched on November 12th, 2020, the day of the PS5 launch. Having it be a launch title was pretty good for the game's sales, despite barely being enhanced by PS5. Also being available on PS4. Also for the same price. Streamers were playing it, making jokes about the little guys.
You play Bugsnax?
No. I've been
They got the guys that run around and go bunger, bunger, bunger.
That game is fun. Good present.
Bunger?
Make someone else a present.
And overall, people were responding well to it. The concept of Bugsnax alone got the game popular, and more people got to experience what this game is about. Until they find out what it's really about. As you hop into Bugsnax, you arrive on the creature-infested island on your little blimp ship. Sorry, you crash onto the creature-infested island, and then lose consciousness. Unexpectedly, the focus ends up being more on the grumpuses, the made-up dominant species on this world because, why not? A lot of this game is based around talking to these guys. Slowly but surely, you meet more and more characters, and weirdly enough, this ends up being one of the most intriguing parts about the gameplay. Let's summarize real quick. The plot of Bugsnax is that you're the journalist. Wow! And you have recently been invited to Snacktooth Island by Elizabeth Megafig to write a story about Bugsnax, the impossible creature that infests the island. They're cute, they're everywhere, all her friends love them, and apparently they taste amazing. But I don't necessarily want to put all these guys in my mouth. This guy gets it.
I don't understand how anybody could look into their googly little eyes and want to eat them.
Except when you get there, you find out that Lisbeth has gone completely missing and everyone in the town has split up without her leadership. Now they're scattered across the island, living their own lives, but then they meet you, and you're really good at catching Bugsnax, so you help them with their weird problems. Which always just means, catch me some Bugsnax! And then you do. And then that's the game. This is the gameplay that intrigued all of us. We all simultaneously went, alright, I'll play a game where I catch little walking burgers and feed them to a big Muppet walrus. And son of a bitch, this game is fun! The gameplay alone of catching Bugsnax in new and exciting ways and learning more about them is already a super fun time. And then everything else is just so unique. The music of Bugsnax is so fitting and gives you good feelings, like it's made for this world. The areas are goofy, the bios are very goofy, the townsfolk are... We gotta talk about the townsfolk. Because you're writing a story about Bugsnax, you're getting every piece of information you can. So you interview all the people you encounter, which leads to you learning a lot about these guys. These characters in your first encounter are pretty straightforward, and you already get an idea what you're getting into with them. They're pretty much stereotypes. The gossip girl, the rock star, the sporty one. Its cartoony nature is what makes it feel so fitting. Despite not having the most unique interests, seeing the difference in characters every time you encounter them is always cool. Not to mention the writing is just really fun.
But Bethica planted evidence in my hut, said I stole her diary. So I did what any honest grump would do. I ran.
The characters have a lot of feelings about others. In fact, if you scan the grumps with your snacks scope, you see who they hate, who they like, and some info about them. There's also a lot of drama between the townsfolk. Sometimes when you're just trying to do your own thing, you'll see some confrontation go down. Always fighting about stuff in the past, getting on each other's nerves, or just because. You do a lot of eavesdropping on your friends' convos, but you're there for them to talk to you, so. What this story does, and what I want to see from any other cartoon characters that are basically stereotypes, is give these guys a lot of depth. All the characters in Bugsnax are actually very sad. From each and every one of them, you eventually find out how sad they all are. Their lives back home are kind of miserable, and they all got issues in general because of who they are. They came to this island to help Lizbert, yes, but they also came to the island to escape, to hopefully grab on to a life that's better than the one they left behind. And maybe, just maybe, Bugsnax are the key to a more content and worthwhile life. Each one of these guys is a stereotype to an extent, but it boils down to their insecurities. No way in hell did I expect to be as invested as I was. Trying to help these guys out may be nice for them in the moment as you keep checking in on them to help out with what they're trying to do, but by the end of helping them, they're ultimately unhappy, which makes you care about each and every one of them. You don't want them to be upset. Eat a bunger, eat all the bungers! So along with observing these townsfolk and helping them out, there is of course the main quest, because this game has so much to experience and I love this game a lot. The main quest is discovering why Lizbert went missing all of a sudden. You acquire certain clues that will help you get a bigger picture of what's happening, sometimes given to you during an interview, or sometimes out in the wild. Some of the clues include these video diaries, where we get to see more of Lizbert and her partner, Eggabell. Eggabell is a very troubled character, and the one I want to talk about the most. Lizbert is this high and mighty leader who's capable, daring, and adventurous, and Eggabell is this sweet nurse who's soft and sensitive, and independency is not her strong suit. She relies on Lizbert for so much, and that really starts to get to her when Lizbert gets hurt trying to get Bugsnax for her. She doesn't want Liz to get hurt just for her, so she tries to toughen up and live up to her own high expectations, but Lizbert and Eggabell's friends are telling her that it's okay to be the way you are. The only one hard on her is herself. Seems like a pretty real character to me, to be honest. I won't go in depth with every single character, but I can assure you each and every one of them is well written and worthy of being cared about. What you should remember about Eggabell is that she went missing too, along with Lizbert. She's just as missing as Lizbert is. Your relationship with the ever-growing town becomes so strong, you are the reason everyone is having a better time in Snaxburg, and why others may actually begin to get along. Snaxburg is starting to make some excellent progress. Until you realize something's up. In the episode Ghost Stories, the townsfolk you've gathered up so far sit around the fire and talk about how better it is living in Snaxburg than out in the wild. They start to mention what they've seen around the island in their own time. Triffany, who you found in the desert, starts talking about the sights that she's seen that you helped her find. Proof of people who lived on the island a long time ago, as you can see skeletons of where they now remain. Except for this tomb, where most bodies disappear completely.
You know, the desert grumps, they had some odd rituals. They take their old and dying and seal them in secret caves. It's more the bodies would just disappear.
Beffica begins to address her take on the matter. She thinks if there's proof of other people on the island, how do we know for certain that we're alone? If these corpses vanish, what or who is causing it?
Obviously, we're not the first Grumpuses to make it to Snacktooth. So what makes us think all the others are dead? I've seen those chewed up skeletons around the island. We all know something kills Grumpuses out there, and it has teeth. Bugsnax don't have teeth. And like Wiggle said, there aren't animals out here other than us.
Everything's been examined, but there's no answer to any of these speculations. But before the conversation can go any further, something happened in the outhouse. So, you go up to check on it, and when you do,
Oh, hey buddy. Sorry, I got a little too spooked, and I came here to calm down.
you remain the only one who definitely heard something unnatural. But what it was exactly, you can't figure out. Until Wiggle here sings about the unnatural she's seen.
For I know what lurks in the shadows.
She's witnessed the Queen of Bugsnax. Sung in her lyrics to her random improvised song, she conducts this delicious orchestra, bringing music to our mouths. And once we're dancing to her tune, then Gramble interrupts and says she gobbles us up, and then she says that's precisely right. Before Wiggle can describe any more, something broke into the mill. After all the horrible things you've heard about the island today, there's no way this can be good. Who knows what kind of monster, and it's Chandlo.
Chandlo?
Whoa, it's Filbo! And somebody new? Hey, how are you?
Alright. So sure, that was nothing to worry about, but you did hear something. You have no idea what it is, but you did. So after that last encounter, you're left feeling reassured and fine. Everything should be okay, but what? What happened? After getting more people back, Filbo says you're doing a great job, but might want to take a break. You've been doing a lot of work and very little relaxing. So you take his advice, and you take a break. What a terrible idea. Beffica and Gramble scream in fear as they saw some sort of cryptic creature walk into town only for it to vanish. The others share their theories, but none of them are accurate.
What? No, nothing like that. It looked kind of normal until it...
It turned into a bunch of Bugsnax and, scattered.
Frankly, I find that hard to swallow.
No one believes them, but enough evidence should be visible if something actually came into town, says Triffany, and since you're the observant one, I guess. You look around the area to see what you can find, and you slowly notice you didn't see some of what's changed. The footprints resemble a Grumpus, and then the prints become bug tracks. If that wasn't suspicious enough, the sign. Something left a message. When you tell the others, all the fears they have are no longer the result of paranoia. There is something to be scared of, but not one of the townsfolk can actually agree on what it can be. Wiggle says it's the Queen of Bugsnax in action. Snorpy says they're being set up by the Grumpnati. I'm not elaborating on that. And the others are just mean. Point is, the living space of Snacksburg has become a troubling place to live. And the others are having second thoughts about coming back to town. But Filbo encourages everyone to stay, because splitting will only make you alone. And that's not gonna be enough. All they gotta do is try to embody Lizbert's courage. And maybe they can handle what this island throws at them. Speaking of Lizbert's courage, Eggabell! Woo! Eggabell has been found, looking much more tough than what you've seen. She quickly tells you to leave, but because you're a journalist, you interview her. Finally, you get to hear how Liz went missing. An earthquake occurred, and Liz and Egg were split up. Eggabell's just been looking for her this whole time, with no luck. But it's made a monumental impact on her. She's been surviving in dangerously cold weather all on her own, trying to find her partner. As much as it's been suffering, she's wanted this chance. She wants to be able to defend herself, convince herself that she can be there for herself when no one else will. But the truth is, she's just pushing others away. You find out what her next target is, a door. with a mysterious way to open it that only Liz knows. Luckily, you got all the clues. You uncovered everything you need to get to this point, from all of the grumps and your own discovery. Egg is delighted to hear this and says you can go now, but you insist on helping. Might be for the best that Egg hears that. As you help her find all the corresponding Bugsnax for these statues and get Filbo to try and open the door, it fails. Egg is in shambles, thinking it's all her fault, and that she can't do anything right.
Hey, it's okay, Eggabell. That was kind of scary, but we're fine. We'll just try it again and...
No, I'll try it again. You two are going home.
Eggabell, I want to find Lizbert just as badly as you do. You don't have to do this alone.
Yes, I do. I'm a burden to everybody around me. That's why she's gone.
What do you mean?
I was being stupid, and I slipped up on the cliffs while I was trying to show off. The earthquake hit, and I was gonna fall, but Liz saved me, like she always does. She got swept away, and then the ground opened beneath her, and it swallowed her up.
I'm so sorry, Eggabell.
Don't be. I'm used to it. Please, just go. I can't stand to see anyone else hurt.
You know, when I was looking for Lizbert, I got really hungry. I couldn't catch Bugsnax, so I tried eating this purple flower, but then I threw up, and then I went blind for a bit, and then I fell in a hole, and by the time I dragged myself out of there, I was so tired and hungry I could barely move. That's when we met, buddy.
Filbo, that's awful.
It was, 'cause, you know, I can't make it on my own like you and Lizbert. And it's times like those when I could really use a doctor.
All right. I get it. I need some time to think. I still want to figure out what I got wrong. When I do, I'll come find you.
Eggabell gets back to work, not giving up, but not being so hard on herself. She's making the personal progress she needs, but still needs her endgame. So by this point, you've gotten everyone back to Snacksburg, except Liz and Egg, but that doesn't count. Now the town is thriving on its own. Everyone is actually starting to feel at home again. Best of all, during this big celebration party, all the others are starting to make up. Finally say the things they want to say that they told you instead. Enemies make up, friends tell each other what they've been meaning to say. Finally, the optimism has caught on to everyone in town. Things are finally looking up. They're all together again, and
our end is nigh. Well, is that a metaphor, or?
The island is unstable. Earthquakes have happened before, but when it's accompanied by an erupting volcano, there's a terrible situation afoot. Once again, agreement struggles to be made as everyone keeps spatting out what they think is going on and how to fix it. In reality, they've all lost hope. But Filbo isn't giving up, so why should the others?
Well said, Filbo.
Eggabell? Eggabell is back to tell you that she figured out how to open the door, and needs you and Filbo once again. But of course, you two can't just leave, right? The only bit of optimism left while the island is falling apart is just gonna leave? No. For the first time, the townsfolk actually think together and prepare for the worst. Put together every concern they have and handle it. Now that they're ready to get to work, it's time to open the door. The journey finally reaches its end. Finally, you get to find Liz. The path collapsed. You fall into the Undersnacks. This is what's beneath the island. All snacks. You make your way through this place and find Filbo. What the f***? And you find this thing, the Snack Squatch. Ugh. Made of snacks, but looks like a grumpus.
It looked kind of normal until it... until it...
It turned into a bunch of Bugsnax and, scattered.
Now that you have Filbo, you make your way through this place and try to meet up with Eggabell. Until you find her.
let them through.
Lizbert has been found, only to find out she is changed. Her body has turned into this horrific combination of all the biggest Bugsnax, all of the legendary snacks she possesses now. Standing tall, wearing a crown.
It's the queen of Bugsnax! A Bugsnax bigger than any we've ever seen!
The queen. The queen of Bugsnax was her, but you still came to the island to interview her, so...
Are you seriously trying to interview me right now? I regret inviting you. You came here to interview Elizabeth Megafig? Fine. Keep it quick. This is the island's true form. It's Bugsnax all the way down.
That's kind of amazing.
It's disgusting once you understand what Bugsnax really are. They're parasites. They get inside you and they change you, your body and your mind. They make you want them, and before you know it, you become them. It's not that simple. They're insidious, patient. You'll show them a weakness, and they'll exploit it. What you see here, this is what's left of everybody who came before us, of every living thing that wasn't Bugsnax. They always win. After I saved Eggabell, I fell into this place. Before I knew what was happening, I was swarmed. Bugsnax were crawling down my throat. They tried to erase me, to make me into them.
That's horrible.
I almost lost myself, but somehow I pushed back. I made them into me. That's right. I'm sorry if I scared you. I just wanted to make everyone leave this awful place. But I can't make Bugsnax talk. No. The Bugsnax are in a frenzy. They have been since we came here. They're so ravenous that they're shaking the ground apart. I'm the only thing keeping this island together right now. But it's like fighting a tsunami with a bucket. There. You have your answers. I hope you write a story worth telling.
The whole time, the game was trying to tell you. All the way back to the first trailer for the game, it showed this goofy concept of Bugsnax, thinking it was funny, but noticing how eerily morbid it was. Why do you turn into Bugsnax? And why does it not seem to bother them? There was something that felt wrong about it all. And then the end of the trailer. Something is terribly wrong. And you knew. On my first playthrough of the game, I didn't know how much I was told about the abnormal events of the island. Queen of Bugsnax, bodies would just disappear, no more Bugsnax, the skepticism of Bugsnax themselves, it all makes sense. It's all like that for a reason. They're parasites. They make you want them, and you become them. And before you know it, you'll be part of the island. Like everyone else that came before you. This is one of the darkest concepts I've seen a game pull off. You thought you'd be capturing fun little bugs? No, you're capturing one of the deadliest, scariest parasites that could possibly ravage the earth. This game tricked me. It tricked all of you, but wow, is that the coolest surprise I've ever gotten from a game story. After your interview, the island shakes again. Liz has been trying to hold it together, but there's nothing she can do anymore. She tells you to leave with the others, but Filbo doesn't want her to leave them all. Filbo doesn't believe he can take care of people. He doesn't believe in himself as a leader. He says,
"It's only a matter of time before I screw up and ruin everything. I'm not good at stuff, and everybody hates me. But they love you, Lizbert."
They love the idea of me.
Lizbert begins talking about the bottled up emotions she's been carrying.
I led you to this terrible island. I filled your bodies with parasites. I ignored all the warning signs. I didn't understand what any of you really needed. So now I'm taking responsibility for my mistakes. I'll keep the Bugsnax at bay long enough for everyone to escape. Nobody else needs to get hurt because of me.
Where have I heard that before?
Eggabell finally makes her way to where you are and confronts Lizbert. Liz being the one to say that she's only been a burden really hits Eggabell. Looking at how Liz is acting, she sees it as unnecessary. Why put all this weight on yourself when you can just keep going and get better? She's learned to do that. Liz hasn't had to. With that, Egg is ready to leave together with Liz. But if Lizbert leaves, she'll lose control of the Bugsnax, and the island couldn't take it. So, what's Eggabell's plan?
See? That wasn't so hard, right?
Well, what would other supportive partner do in this scenario? Become a freakish food Akira so you can be together forever. That's... it's a good plan. Now Egg and Liz are gonna stay behind. With both of them in control, they should be able to hold them back long enough for everyone to escape. And escape they do.
Gotta save... friends? Yes! Yes, save friends!
Now it's time to check back on Snacksburg, and oh my goodness. The Bugsnax are going nuts, ready to be eaten. The only way to stop them is...
As for you, you may need my snack chop. It's much like the snack trap if it were set to... puree.
Use what you know. So you are now using weaponized versions of the items you used to catch Bugsnax. Now, to kill them. As you help everyone, enemies are working together and starting to be okay with the other, and relationships are being tested as teaming up is the only possible way to get out of this efficiently. After a very long sequence of fending them all off, you make it to the balloon in which you arrived on the island with. As you lift off, you're so close, so... Liz and Egg sacrificed themselves to the island so we could escape. As everyone makes their way to the shore, you get to check in on all of them one last time and see how they are. After everything they've struggled with and Bugsnax being this whole lie, it becomes a wake-up call for all of them. They're back home. They tried to live their lives to the fullest extent on Snacktooth, but with all that gone, why bother thinking that would change things? Relationships grew a lot stronger, but more importantly, they all became more mature. They know better than to ridicule others for thinking against them. Instead, think clearer, think realistically. Because Bugsnax are the least realistic thing that they believed. The final scene is you back at your job, telling your boss all about Snacktooth, and that it's all a lie. Like, it isn't real, nothing happened, because no one should ever go back there. Also, apparently you're fired. You were immediately presumed dead after leaving because no one comes back from Snacktooth. Until now, that is. The final dialogue is Philbo thinking about running for mayor. Despite being a stand-in for Lizbert when she wasn't available, and he just called himself mayor, he's learned a lot about leading people after the terror that he had to go through. And you being there to bring everyone back gave him all the optimism he ever needed. Bugsnax is a game about characters, discovering them and learning all about the chemistry between them. But to accompany that, the gameplay is a genuinely fun capture and collect game where you have tons of fun finding new ways to catch Bugsnax and discovering new ones. Those two things alone were enough to make an amazingly fun and addictive game. But once you realize the game's been telling you this extensive story the whole time, it becomes a whole new thing to love. This game is a masterpiece of storytelling, but it's also a masterpiece in general. I mean that. Combined with the surprise of the game being a near horror story, the game's impact on me was stronger than I can imagine. The characters are amazing, the design is amazing, the writing is amazing. In terms of cartoon-themed stories with good characters and a story anyone can get into, this is the perfect example of just that.
No, I sent them away. It would be hard to make them disappear at this point.
Do they suspect anything?
Hard to say. Could be they're idiots. Could be they know the truth and they're keeping it quiet.
Very well. We will have to keep our eye on them. Tu quid edas?
Omne vivamex Bugsnax.
Oh my god. Wow, this video was long. If you actually did watch all the way, thank you so much for watching though. I haven't made a video like this before, but I plan to possibly make more. If you did like this though, please check out my other projects including On the Road to a New Day. I have another video for it coming soon. Here's a sneak peek. That's it, that's all you get. It's gotta be a surprise.